Hey guys, this is the Dark Passenger, just here to review A Nightmare on Elm Street. This film came out in 1984. It's basically about, Nancy. She's being stalked by this killer in her dreams, with a burnt face, wearing a red and green sweater and a hat. This old, ratty hat, kind of. And then she finds out that her friends are having the same dream. Like her friend Tina. There's one scene in this film where Nancy is talking to her friend Tina at her house, and basically Tina tells Nancy that she's been having the exact same dream and kind of describes who she was seeing in the dream. And yeah, Nancy realized that they were both seeing the same guy in their dream. And then after that, Tina's boyfriend shows up, they go upstairs, and that's the scene that leads to Tina's death. And that's a great death scene in this film. I mean, it's just a classic death scene where, Tina is just kind of sleeping, and Freddy kills her in her dream, and then she just dies in real life. He slashes her in the dream, and she dies in real life. That's the name of the killer, Freddy Krueger, and he's played by Robert Englund in this. And in my opinion, he'll always be Freddy. He is Freddy, not Jackie Earle Haley from the remake. This is the only Freddy, Robert Englund. But then in the scene that I'm talking about, Tina's boyfriend is just yelling and screaming while he's watching his girlfriend get killed. And she's crying out for help and then she just finally drops dead on the bed. There's just blood everywhere. And I guess her boyfriend couldn't really figure out who did it. They thought it was him that did it. They blamed him. But the police realized that they didn't find any sort of sharp object at the scene, no weapon at all, nothing. But the cuts on Tina's chest were from some sort of razor sharp weapon. The police knew that. Well, it was Freddy's finger knives, obviously. He cut her with those. It was like, just 4 cuts on her chest. That's one of the best scenes in the movie for me. But the best scene, I think, in this movie is closer to the end. This is right after Nancy's boyfriend Glenn dies. He's played by Johnny Depp in this. He's still pretty young in this movie. I think this is one of his first movies, but I'm not too sure. And we know, I guess, pretty much everyone who's seen this movie knows that Nancy's played by Heather Langenkamp, and she's a great Nancy, in my opinion. Just a great actress. This was after Glenn's death. She kind of rigs the house with booby traps before she goes to sleep to bring Freddy out of her dream into the real world so she can get rid of him, pretty much, so she can get rid of him for good, so he doesn't bother her anymore, doesn't try to kill her anymore. And that's a pretty awesome scene because after she brings him out, he just starts getting hit by all these booby traps, and he's set on fire until she finally just gets rid of him. She calls her father up there too, who's the lieutenant, police lieutenant, and to try to catch Freddy, but that kind of doesn't work. He sees Freddy, I guess, because he's in the real world now. He can't be seen. But then basically, the way that Nancy got rid of him was by saying that, he's not real, it's not happening, that she's taking away every bit of energy she ever gave him, that she wants her mother and her friends back because her mother had just got killed before that. And Glenn, of course, who was her boyfriend, and her friend Tina, and Tina's boyfriend as well. So yeah, that's how she gets rid of him. After she says all that, Freddy just disappears. Oh yeah, and also the scene before that, Glenn's death scene was pretty cool. As well. I mean, he's just falls asleep on his bed in his headphones, even though Nancy called him before, told him to meet her at midnight on her porch. And she said to him, "Don't fall asleep." He didn't listen. He fell asleep, and Freddy killed him. Freddy sucked him down along with his TV. Yeah, basically sucked him into his bed, I guess, along with his TV and everything. Yeah, Freddy just sucked him in, just killed him, and then just his blood just spilled out everywhere in the room. That's pretty much, from the hole in the bed. That was a pretty cool scene as well. Kind of creepy too. I mean, Freddy just sneaks up on you, kind of. And Tina's death scene was pretty creepy as well. I mean, it's cool, but it's creepy at the same time. This movie is just a classic, one of my favorite horror movies. I really do love it. And if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that you do. It's one of Wes Craven's best movies, but I've only seen, from Wes Craven's movies, I think I've only seen the Scream franchise and, New Nightmare. I think that's pretty much all I've seen from his movies. So yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Thanks for listening. Subscribe. Stay tuned for more reviews. Peace.